Well, today we are talking about being a brand accelerator. Welcome back to Living with Favor. We are here on a journey to uncover the secrets of living with favor, and favor stands for faith, abundance, vitality, overflow, and mindset. No, overflow in relationships. I have mindset on the brain because today my guest is an expert coach in the area of mindset. These are the 5 key areas of growth that were my focus over the last 40 years in business. This is a business show to inspire and encourage the entrepreneur in all of us. And the promise of the show is to introduce you to my expert guests who I often get to call friends. And they're going to share their successes and challenges, truly authentic from the heart. And our hope is that we can help you as business owners smooth out the waters, make that path a little bit easier for you. I'm the host, Lisa Mosbey. I hadn't introduced myself yet. I want to thank you for letting me fulfill my purpose to come alongside you to train and advise you on this path of being a sole proprietor or an entrepreneur, being a small business. When we're talking about abundance, Souligna Stone is a performance-driven visionary with a passion for people and connections. She works with a continuous process of improvement. And I took that right from her LinkedIn because I loved how that sounded. That sounds like abundance, a continuous process of improvement. Souligna enjoys learning what makes individuals and teams successful and creating unique ways to use different science-based technologies to improve performance. Again, science-based. This is not fluff, people. This is the good stuff. And so I'm going to stop talking. I want to introduce you to speaker extraordinaire and my new friend, Souligna Stone. Souligna, thank you so much for being with me today.
Good morning. Thank you, Lisa, so much for inviting me to be here today and to share with you. And again, we were just discussing this. Nothing has been prepared. I don't even know what questions are going to be asked. So I will do my best to just allow whatever comes through to just fall on your hearts today. And so yes, I don't proclaim myself to be the guru or the expert, because certainly there are hundreds and thousands of other, medically licensed who are authorities in this field. However, my journey has been such an amazing transformation. And so I love this topic, especially because, what abundance means to me now was not the same meaning or definition I had like 10 years ago. And I know your listeners can relate to this. If you look back at your life and reflect on the periods of time and the circumstances that was happening in your life, what did abundance mean at that point? What does abundance mean in the future? And I can tell you the vision that I've had since I was little has not changed. And I know that that is what I call your GPS, your guided purpose system. It's laser focused. It's that intuition. It's that gut. It's that Holy Spirit. It's that quiet voice that speaks to you, and you're afraid sometimes to listen to it or to follow the instructions. And I didn't realize until now, because I call myself a fairly new baby Christian. I just got baptized in May. And what I studied throughout my life was, I didn't realize this was already in the Bible. This is how ironic this comes in full circle. And so my abundant life, or what abundant meant to me, was what my parents taught me. And I know a lot of you can relate to this. It's, your first imprint is by your parents or your grandparents or your teachers, your college professors. It's whoever is speaking into you and teaching you the things that you should learn. And so what I started doing was questioning all the beliefs and all the values and all the traditions and the cultural things that I was being taught, and seeing, how is this empowering me, or how is it holding me back? And at the age of 44, I discovered almost everything that I learned was completely false. Strangers are not bad. Working hard is not always the truth, right?
Yeah.
These are deeply embedded lessons that we have been taught as children. At the age of 2, we're always told what?
Don't touch, or no.
Yes, stop. No, don't do that, right? We're taught fear at the age of 2. If you look at little babies and toddlers before they are 2, they are fearless. They're limitless. They will jump off the couch. My son jumps off the couch with no thought that I'm going to hurt myself until we embed that into them. So at the age of 2, for most of us, we're taught, don't do that. You're going to get hurt. Don't talk to strangers. And I coach women now who are afraid to talk to people about their services, and they don't know how to sell with confidence because they're afraid to talk to strangers. Well, when you're in a service-based business that rely on customers or clients, and we have to exchange money, guess who you have to talk to? People you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So all of these things. And so, I started questioning, what does abundant mean? And at the time it was live the American dream, get a good college degree, get a good job, and you get married and have the family. And so my blueprint since I was little was to follow that American dream. And I did all the things. I checked it all off. Well, after the baby came, nobody told me what happens after that. So my definition of abundant life, I had to recreate this. And so if I can bless all of you today, John 10:10, that is the scripture that I always come back to when we talk about this particular word, and especially with process improvement. God came, Jesus came to give us life so that we could have it abundantly. And I started really diving into what is the meaning of the word, the definitions and the origins. And abundance is overflow. I always say, I want overflow of joy, overflow of happiness, overflow of health and passion and love. And if wealth and success comes with that too, it's even better, right? But what if you could wake up every day with this thought that I am an overflow, an abundance of oxygen and clean air and loving relationships and passion for my day. I have light to light my path today. Like, it's all in the Bible. There's so many scriptures. I'll give you 31 days of scripture if you'd like, if somebody needs that today. Is how do I, when we're in seasons of doubt or seasons where it's slowed down and their cash register isn't ringing, it's like we go to this scarcity mindset. If I just work harder, if I just call 5 more people, or I'm not going to call 25 people today, I'm just going to go clean my fridge instead, right? Yeah. So when we get into these desperate moments because of circumstances that's happening to us, that's when we start going towards the dark, where we start listening to those thoughts in our head that are not going to move us out of this funk. So, learning to be abundant in my emotions is, what do I want to feel? And it's choosing. Do I want to feel sad and depressed today, or do I want to feel good and happy? Do I want to feel at peace today, or do I want to be stressing over money? And it's a choice.
Yeah.
And especially for women, I know this is the most challenging thing, is that we get stuck in the suck. And I will say it, I know it sounds harsh, but we get stuck in the suck vortex of our pity party, of our boohoo, it's me, of everybody, this, you know the list. You have these conversations with yourself. And so if I can inspire you today is, what are the abundance and overflow of the words and love that you're showering yourself today? Because that's where it starts. And if you remember, some of you, even just this morning, what is the first thought that comes to your head the minute you wake up? Think about it. Why is Mondays the most hated day in America for most of us? Oh gosh, it's Monday. I don't want to go to work. I hate work. I hate computers. I hate traffic. That passion that you're putting behind your words is what's creating your reality.
And as we continue to focus on that negative, we get more of the negative rather than expanding and bringing in the abundance of thoughts and hope and joy and, compassion and passion for what it is that we do. You have a quote on your LinkedIn profile. It says, "My sole purpose on this earth is to impact people plus create change. It looks different each day, but I empower people to love their lives as a result of discovering their true purpose to build the life and business of their dreams." That's my photo says, "Build your dreams or build someone else's," on my LinkedIn, on Facebook, everything. Like we are so in alignment with this idea of how we folks and help them to build their dreams. But I want you to shed some light on that. You shared a lot about that abundant mindset and like getting out of our own way with the mind, with an abundant growth mindset is what I'm looking for. Growth mindset rather than fixed and rigid, getting into that growth mindset. But how does that translate into letting us really live in our true purpose, discovering our true purpose, and creating the life and business of our dreams, living the bucket list life, as we like to call it?
So I think where it starts is we all, like, I feel like we all know what that feels like when we are thinking about others before we think about ourselves. That's where the joy, I think, comes, is when we are thinking about how do we serve other people? How do we help people? There has been so many milestone events that has happened to all of us in America, from 9/11 to the most recent pandemic. And I looked at the neighbors and I looked at our friends and where people rose in dire situations. And I'll just even simplify it, even as when I got a flat tire or when I had car issues, and a group of strangers just came willing to help. But this is where I started, was with my own mindset, is when I, transforming this thought that people are bad and people are going to hurt me. If you live in that bubble, think about all the ways how the world is showing up for you. And I did this by experimenting. It's called experiential coaching, because everything I did, I implemented. I invested thousands of dollars into hiring coaches and mentors and doctors to help me figure this out, because I thought I was going crazy, literally. But I wanted to transform my life from a lack mindset to overflow of abundance. And I will tell you, abundance works in both ways. Abundance is, if you're abundance in negative thoughts and negative experiences, you're going to create more into that, right? Abundance and positive thought and overflow, right? What does that feel like? So I'm going to ask you, which one feels better for you? I want to feel good. I want to feel happy. I want to feel vibrant. I want to feel light. I want to feel energy. So in a moment, it's a state change of you getting up and going to do something I know you don't want to do, like working out. I'm sorry, but if it was easy, everybody would be in the gym working out, right? But it's not. It is a daily choice for some of us. And let me tell you, I could finish a whole bag of Doritos if I wanted to, and I have. I made a conscious choice sometimes to, I'm going to enjoy this bag of Doritos and I will do the consequences later, right?
Yeah.
But it is a conscious, it's a conscious choice. So my conscious choice in every moment is, am I going to choose happy? Am I going to choose being in love and joy, or am I going to choose being right? I would rather be wrong and happy, or you know what I mean? So it's choosing your battles, choosing your emotions, and choosing your thoughts. And my thoughts is, I want to be an overflow of abundance today in everything I do. And that means, how do I create overflow and abundance for others? Because when we are all in joy and all in happy and all in love, that energy gets exchanged between more people. And more people, you get to spread all that. So, my passion and my purpose is, I want to create impact wherever I go, whether it's in my business or it's somebody I just met on the street or driving past somebody in the next traffic lane over. I just say, be the light. It says that's the first commandment, is be the light, to love thy neighbor as you would love God with your heart and soul. How many of us are really truly doing that? Instead of judging other people and putting somebody down or flipping somebody off because they cut you off in traffic, it's like, slow down. And, we want to, and I look at it too. I share this with my son, since he was 3 years old, we've been reading this stuff, and he knows, like, do I want to be the example? And sometimes being the leader of that example feels lonely, because not everybody is going to do what you do, right? So instead of being unkind and being disrespectfful or rude, I would prefer to choose kindness. And I'll give you an example. I had two ladies that cut in front of me at the grocery store line because they just had one or two items, and there was only one lane open, and there's a long line, and we've all been sitting there for 20 minutes already. And this lady walks up. She had just 3 bins of Tupperware, and she's like, "Do you mind if I just go?" And I said, "Absolutely, go ahead." A second lady comes up. She only had 3 items in her hands, and she She didn't realize that was the line. There was a line back there. I let her in front of me, and the lady that was in front offered to pay for my groceries
Oh,
because I
wow.
let her go.
Yeah.
So because I set the intention every day of I am light and I am love, and I create love wherever I go. I'm an overabundance of joy today. And that's what I choose because that's what I want to see. And you've all heard this saying, be the change.
Yeah.
You then the change starts with you. And so there, I cannot tell you how many times I've told somebody thank you for what they do today. Those people that are cleaning the bathrooms at Target, or those people that are unpacking boxes at Walmart, telling them I love you. And I tell strangers, I don't know if you've heard this today or you need to hear it, but you're doing an awesome job and you're beautiful. You're a child of God and I love you. It brings them to tears
We all
because
need to
I
hear it.
know
We
what
need
that,
to share that.
yes. And so when I talk about abundance, it's not just for me, it's for everybody else. And when I do it for other people, it makes me feel good. So maybe it is a selfish thing, but I would rather choose that than the latter. You know, I grew up very depressed. I grew up with suicidal thoughts. I went through a lot of milestone events in my life, and who I'm choosing to be, and how I want to set an example for my son. It starts with my intentions, my words, and my behaviors, not just, what I say, but also how I treat other people. And I've given Carter permission many times, like if I'm not speaking to you with love and respect today, you have permission to say, Mom, are you talking to me with love? And he checks me, even to my mother. Like when I'm doing to my mom, he will call me out. And because, I see how sometimes I lose my patience with my mom sometimes, and I'm like, that's not who I want to be. And so I give him permission to shine that mirror on me. And I'm like, you're right, Carter. Thank you.
Wow. Selena, there's a lot to unpack on there. Choose your
It's
heart.
a
The
lot.
things that came up for me is like choose your heart when you're making those choices. Like
Yeah.
we can eat those Doritos, but choosing to do that, you're choosing your heart that you're gonna pay consequences. That choosing not to do fitness, not to eat healthy, not to work out, there's gonna be consequences. You're choosing your heart by your decisions that you're making today. And that was the first one that kind of landed for me. And then the next one here is empowering the people around you to call you out, like your own kids, to say, Mom, you're not speaking to me with love, giving them the words and setting the
Yes.
example. And the third one is how are you being? How are you showing up in your life? How are you being? And are you being who you want your kids to see, whether you're with them or not, whether you're at work or at church or at the gym? Are you being someone that you'd want your kids to see? Would you want your kids seeing you flipping somebody off when they're driving down the road? I don't think so. Who are you being all the time? What is your
Yes.
mindset about it? And are you treating other people with kindness and compassion? Man, like we got the whole presentation. I said you were a speaker extraordinaire. We got the whole presentation from the stage right here in our little meeting room. I know you've been in corporate America for over 20 years, cultivating people and businesses in multiple industries. You were known as the brand accelerator, and that sounds like an abundant mindset to me. We are a business show. I want to dip over into this area of brand acceleration. Tell us more about that. How did you work in that arena?
I didn't even know what this was. I really was in the trenches. And one of the best careers I ever had was actually working for a small engineering firm at the time, right in my backyard, in my hometown in Illinois. And at the time when I started, we were only at maybe, not even 100 employees or so. And during my 3 years there, we had grown tremendously to over 300, then to 800, and then we had over 3,000 employees in a very quick amount of time. And the thing that was ingrained in me was just looking at systems and processes. And, young college kid, think about it, like I was 21, 22. I graduated college, 99? I think I was 19, 20. I don't even remember. This is how long ago it was.
Yeah.
And we always stuck with what is our core mission? What is our core mission and who we serve and how we do it with quality, superior quality, and how we deliver. not only to our clients externally, but also to our employees internally. So when I talk about communication, there's two ways to communicate. It's external communication and internal communications. And so you don't have, you look at your audience or your clients or your customers. For some of those who are still working in businesses, this is what I'm talking about. Who are your customers? It's not just the external customers that you're trying to brand and market to, but it's also the internal customers, which is what a lot of companies are having to deal with in the last 10 years, right? It's the culture. How are you retaining your employees? How are you nurturing and rewarding your stellar employees, right? How do you make them want to stay? And how do you brand yourself as the only company that you should be working for? And so when we did this for the engineering company, I had amazing engineers who had started this company. And back at the time, they were still smoking cigarettes in the office, like the 4 original founders of the company. And Mr. Ray would come in, and of course he can't smoke in the office anymore, but we were family-minded, family-oriented. It was starting with our small little family nuclear staff. And that's how we treated every single customer, how we treated every single employee, whether we were at 180 or 300 or 8,000. And we created processes, we created programs to instill that family culture in our company, and we extended it out to our customers. And so even though all of these other very progressive, very innovative engineering firms around the world were recruiting my engineers, none of my engineers wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Right. It was so ingrained, and that's what's called branding. And if you look at the origination of the word brand, it's how, those farmers and cattle herders would brand their steer. It was so people can identify whose it is, right? So this idea of branding is, how do I help people identify either who I belong to or who I'm with or who I represent? And it starts with the messaging. It starts with the culture and the behaviors and the activities, and what are you doing consistently over time. So when we grew from only 5 offices to then 10 offices to then a district office to then global offices in China and India, it was like, how do we ingrain and keep that same family culture, even though now we're globally recognized, right? And so quickly we became known as one of the top leading engineering firms that were leading innovative, progressive designs in healthcare. And we were the first in our industry to hire an engineer for medical equipment planning. So for me, when I look at branding, I used to be criticized for my innovative ideas, that it was too progressive for some of the companies. And so I found myself leaving positions and going to different positions. And it was really funny because I remember landing at an interview one time, and they asked me all of my years of experience, and I didn't stay at some of these companies for more than 3-4 years. And they're like, why did you move? And it was like, because I outgrew that space. I outgrew it with my ideas and my skills and my experience and my expertise, because I wanted to help companies grow. And if they're not on this
and growth mindset again, that's what I'm hearing.
So if they're not on this trajectory of growth, then you're going to be stuck back in the past doing business as usual, and evolution is passing by you, because and I've heard the saying, this is how we've always done it. Yeah. And that drives me absolutely nuts. Do what works, but also look at what's going on around you. Your marketplace is telling you what you need to be doing. And so a lot of these companies that I worked and consulted for, I helped prepare them for when the wave of baby boomers retired. I helped them prepare for when internet and social media came into the marketplace. I helped these companies prepare for when, hey, we have digital workforce that are leaving right now and they want to work from home. Everybody heard of what happened in 2020, right? So all these companies that did business as usual were now scrambling, trying to figure out, how do I now brand my company online? So those who didn't embrace technology and the advancement of culture and technology and shifts in workplace, they got a lot of those companies to close their doors. So what's really crazy is I've always went on this path of growth mindset, and I didn't even realize what I was doing. And of course, I look back now, like, God had already planted this whole path for me. I just didn't know where it was
in us.
going.
Yeah, that
It's in
growth.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
You know, this
guide.
is a show for entrepreneurs. That's a lot of corporate stuff and kind of the evolution of how you were a consultant in all those spaces. Let's dial it back in. A lot of our viewers are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small business owners. How and you are too now, really. I mean, you're working in not in corporate America. They're consulting, or you're consulting. They're customers of yours, but you're not employee anymore. So
Yep.
different mindset. Share a little bit about you, like, as a small business owner, what kinds of things should we be aware of? You know, give us some wisdom about your
Yep.
experience now as an entrepreneur and in a different frame from that
So,
corporate world.
okay, so here's what I learned. What I loved about corporate, what it taught me was if I can help these companies and I can build multi-billion-dollar brands, why can't I implement the same processes and systems into small businesses or solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, right? And I had to get out of this mindset of hourly wage. So, hourly wage activities, hourly wage mindset, and hourly wage behaviors. What was I doing? You know, so if some of you out there are charging hourly fees or billable hours, think about what is your time worth. So that's where I would probably start first is if you're on this growth mindset of are you the CEO of your business or are you the employee of your business? And if you're the employee, how are you paying yourself? And would you be paying or taking that kind of position for that pay? Right. So if you notice right away, hey, I'm not making enough that I should be, and I can't live off of this, or there's certain things in my business, then we need to have a conversation. Like, what are you doing in your business? So that mindset of global brand, and I know sometimes that might scare some people, is I'm not here to change the entire world. I'm just here to change maybe just a small piece of my community. But it's still, what is that global brand that I want to project? What is my message that I want to share out to the community? Or if I want to work nationwide or maybe the state, you know, I don't know where your listeners are at in their journey right now, but for some of you, it might be just small. Like I want to just start with my church or my community and my neighborhood with families or women, whatever that is. But thinking outside of that is we are wearing like 14 to 20 different hats in our businesses.
We are.
I call it the bootstrap system, right? We are doing it by the bootstraps and we are working tirelessly to do all the things. Like I've got to have my marketing, I got to do social media, I got to get emails and all this stuff. I'm the IT tax person, all this stuff. I want to tell everybody just to take a break right now and just breathe, like breathe, breathe. We're not building a rocket ship to the moon and we are not performing heart surgery. Okay. It's a very simple process of who do I really want to help? And how many hours in my week or my day do I really want to work? I reverse engineering a lot of things when I help my clients, when I talk about what is your brand message? Who are you really trying to help? And what are you conveying to let people know what it is that you do and how you solve their problems? Or put it this way, how do I help you relieve the pain or to take away the pressure or the challenges that you're feeling right now? And, you know, if you're a fitness coach, you know, right now that there's people that are stressing out about back to school, right? I've got to figure out meal plans. I got to break out that crock pot again because now we're going back to these crazy schedules and figuring out the time. So when I look at if I'm a fitness coach and I want to work with these individuals, do I want to work with men or women? Or is it single parents? Right. So getting clarity in who you really want to serve will help direct you in what are the activities every day that is going to make impact in either their lives or in my business. And if you're making time for all the other stuff and you're wondering where did my day go? Why am I not making money? Why am I not attracting the clients? Then we need to start looking at what are the things you're doing in your daily process that's not moving the needle for your business or for your clients. And so I have this thing called the daily impact worksheet. And that worksheet tells me where am I making impact in my business? Meaning, am I making enough outreach for marketing, or am I posting consistently this week? Or how am I making impact in the lives of the people that I want to help? Am I going out into the community? Am I networking? Am I showing up on calls? Am I inviting people to the conversation? And so these processes over time, if you notice, what is working, what's not working, where am I spending a lot more time? And for some of my people that I know that don't love social media, but they're spending hours on content and they're not getting any engagement, they're getting no, then what I would question is, maybe social media might not be your correct platform to reach people. Or look at, who are you really trying to talk to? Because if you're really trying to talk to people, are they really hanging out on social media? So an example I'll give you is I had a 62-year-old lady who wanted to help senior citizens get back into inspiring them to live passionately. And so she's spending $3,000 on a social media content manager. And in 2 years, she never made any money. So $3,000 a month over a span of 2 years, right? And so she had no ROI. And I asked her, who is your audience? And she said, they're retirees. So I asked her, are these retirees hanging out on social media, or are they on the pickleball court?
Yeah.
Playing shuffleboard? Are they at bingo houses, or at church? And she's like, the light bulb went off. She's like, oh my gosh. So she fired the social media person, saved herself $3,000 a month, and she started going out to bingo and playing pickleball and going to church, inviting and doing free workshops for seniors. And so sometimes it's just as simple as that, is just, who are you really trying to help? And where are those people? And go hang out where those people are.
Yeah. You know what, Selena, our time went so fast. We are already at 30 minutes. I want to see if you like her message, if you like her energy, if you want to get in touch with Selena, you can find her information in the show notes. We can connect you through her website, through LinkedIn. She's on Instagram as well. So a lot of different places. Check out the show notes. She does coaching, and she is a speaker extraordinaire. She preaches and teaches from the stage for different corporate events. So definitely reach out to Selena. If you can't find that contact information, reach out to me and I'll make sure that I introduce you. So thank you, my dear, for being my guest today and dropping,
such a pleasure,
nuggets of wisdom. Yeah.
Thank
Just to wrap this up, I want my audience always to enjoy and experience fulfillment in their work. My team and I work to support business owners with simple solutions. If you could use a bit of advice to start growing your business, if you're ready to implement an affordable powerhouse digital marketing plan, or you need lead generation, reach out to me and book 30 minutes. Let's discuss what it is that you need for your business. Just go to my website, lisamosbey.com, and that's Lisa, Mosbey.com. And right at the top, you can hit book it and schedule 30 minutes to chat with me. Thanks again for tuning in and sharing our show with your friends. Again, I'm Lisa Mosbey, your host, and I'm here every single week. I hope you come on back, stick around a little longer, and ask some questions of our celebrity guests. We will see you all next week. Thanks for being here.